Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
In a world where Big Pharma writes the script, it's time to believe. Biohack. Become.
We're here to explore the truth about healing that exists outside the broken medical system, to give you the knowledge, the community, and the strategies you need to become a hero of your own health story.
Your guide is a biohacking entrepreneur, a near-death survivor, and a cancer warrior, navigating his own healing journey. Founder of Biohackingville, Exodus Strong, and QE Strong. Your host, Rob René. This is Biohackingville, where the medical system has failed us. One man is leading the rebellion to reclaim.
Hey. It's another fun episode of the Biohackingville podcast. Today is exciting in the respect that, oh my gosh, did you know that you actually can create your body can create its own stem cells? It's something that I find fascinating, right? There's so many people that are chasing the stem cell therapy. And in fact, I even have visited and visit often a facility that specializes in stem cells, and they're absolutely phenomenal. And the things that they're doing to help people, the stories are just incredible. So it's like, when I learned that there's a way to create stem cells, you can get your body to create stem cells correctly, right? That I was fascinated. So super exciting. That's the topic of the conversation we're going to have today. We're going to do a deep dive on something that I just accomplished just last week. About a week and a half ago, I actually did a 3-day water fast. And yes, that is what we're going to be talking about today. Is a couple of topics, but a lot of it is about we are what we eat and we are what we don't eat. And which is really interesting to respect that your body does amazing things during fasting. We're going to go through a couple of case studies of people, and some people you may have even heard of, who just transformed their life dramatically using fasting. And so it's a very important topic, and it's really something that I didn't know much about. And that during my health journey, I've gone through, I've always wanted to fast, and I've fasted for religious reasons in the past, but it was never really a full food fast. It was always, I'm going to reduce something in order to spiritually be connected. And so I've done those type of fasts a lot, but I have never in my life done a multiple day fast or a water fast. And I was fascinated about it. When I went to a health conference, I was actually a keynote speaker at this health conference 2 years ago. And I was at that conference and I met a man that I've seen online quite a bit, Dr. Daniel Pompa. And Dr. Pompa is really popular online. He's got a couple million followers on his Instagram and Facebook, and he's really doing a great job of getting all natural, holistic health out there. And then I watched him present, and when he presented his topic, it was fascinating. And I was just like, man, this guy is not only does he have an amazing story of how he helped heal himself, but he's actually developed solutions that are helping hundreds of thousands of people. So those are the types of people I love. So I've been following Dr. Pompa for quite a while. And then he introduced me when he and I were talking. We were discussing one of my products. One of my products is a product called Exodus. It's a supplement, and we were talking about it has 7 biblical herbs. So Dr. Dan and I were, or Dr. Pompa, maybe I should better say, he and I were chatting about Exodus, and he's like, "Well, I really want you to introduce you to a good friend of mine Jordan Rubin. And I'd like, man, that name sounds familiar, but I didn't connect the two at the time. And then I went and did research on Jordan Rubin, and he's the maker. He's the author of. He's done, I believe, 30 books. But one of his most famous books was called The Maker's Diet, and that's an older book that he wrote. But it was all about you should only eat what's in the Bible. Kind of was the premise of it, and then I went and read the story about Jordan Rubin, and what he went through from a health perspective was fascinating. And then he read more about, he actually went through a cancer journey as well. So if you know my story, I am winning the battle of melanoma right now. So that connected with me that Jordan Rubin also dealt with cancer. And so, and then I looked through more of what he's doing, and now he cured himself of his health issues, and is doing fantastic, and he's really helping millions of people. He's created a couple of large organizations and have sold those off, and now he's using those profits to really make a difference in this world, which I think is pretty awesome. He's got a new book out that's pretty. It's an incredible book. I'm 3/4 of the way through it, and I've got a workbook that I'm going through with it because it's really teaching me a lot about how to eat well. It's called the Biblio Diet. So I want to introduce that to you a little bit and what's going on with the Biblio Diet and why that's important. And then we're going to talk about the healing leaves, which the Bible also even mentions, and what Jordan Rubin is doing with that. So this will be a really fun episode. You're going to learn a lot about fasting. You're going to learn my personal story and how I went through it and why I went through it, and then what results I had from that. But then I also want to teach you the differences between a 3-day fast, a water fast. There's going to be 3 things we're going to talk about. Just intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is very popular in the biohacking world, and it is a way where you just skip a meal or 2, right? You maybe skip your breakfast, and then some people are even skipping breakfast and lunch and only doing a dinner. But that intermittent fasting has some really, really powerful things that it can do in your body. But then if you extend it out to a 3-day, there's other benefits, and there's additional things that it does to your body. So we'll talk about that. And then if you extend it out to 5, that's where we really get into that stem cell production. And that is just super duper fascinating. So I have not done a 5-day fast for health reasons. But I did accomplish the 3-day fast just recently, and it was a really incredible movement for me. And so I'm excited to walk through that. So there you go. That's going to be the show today. We're going to, I've got a bunch of slides that really describe a lot of this information. And then we're going to go through the Biblio Diet and some more details on that. But then stick around, because if you stick around towards the end, I have a couple of resources that you're really going to want. And I'm going to give you access to those. So make sure you stay till the end, and I'll direct you to where to go. So let me share my screen here. I'm going to share my entire screen. I'm going to do this, which is the wrong one. So I'm going to do this. And now I'm going to load up these. So this is the overview of what we're going to talk about today. So beyond fasting. So beyond fasting is fascinating. To respect the science and spirit of cellular renewal. So literally is renewing your cells by starving your body of these nutrients. It transforms itself and then starts doing what you want it to do. It starts feeding off of itself and getting rid of the bad stuff within your body, and then it starts repairing itself. Wow. And then it starts producing the stem cells that we talked about. if you go through the extended component of it. So it's really, really fascinating and really important to the health journey. So it's not just starving, right? Literally, it's a highly engineered protocol if you do it right. And so the great thing is I have resources for you that are going to help you do it right. Because if you're going to do the 5-day fast, you have to actually prepare for that. You can't just jump into it and expect to get the results that you want. But if you prepare correctly and you go through a preparation state, you do the actual fast and you do it for that 5-day period, your body is going to produce the results that we're going to talk about here today. So we're going to talk about the science of when, right? When it happens. And Dr. Dan Pompa, like I mentioned, he's got this protocol he calls beyond fasting. And so it's much more than just the fast, but what else is related to it. And the mechanisms, the thing that I love the most is autophagy, right? That's where your body starts getting rid of the bad stuff and killing bad cells. And that's one thing I'm really working hard on within my body, is getting rid of any cancerous cells in my body. And then the tumors that I do have in my body, I want to make sure that they're shrinking and that my body's fighting those and getting rid of them. And the great news is I've successfully transitioned my body from a cancer producing machine to a cancer fighting machine. So it's taken quite a while to do that. Now I am excited to talk through people of how to do that for themselves as well, because I want to teach everybody how to do that. But then, the ancient wisdom of rewiring those cravings and it really provides inflammation reduction, which the source of all disease is inflammation. That's what these doctors are telling us, which is pretty cool. And then the Jordan Rubin, his biblio diet, he goes into that specifically, and how you rewire the BDNF. So we'll talk through that. And then the 3 I's and why those are important. So we'll dig through those. The old way, right? If you wouldn't run a marathon without training. So you wouldn't just say, oh, I'm going to, go run 26 miles today and have a good run, right? It's going to be difficult for you. But if you train and you work your body up to it, almost anybody can run a marathon. I haven't even never run a marathon. I've run 20 miles before. I've done lots of things, but I've never had the desire to do a full marathon. But if I were to, I know well enough that I need to train for that. My wife has done, God bless her, she's done a lot of marathons and she's amazing, but she prepped for a very long time to get her body prepared for that particular event. And fasting is very similar. You don't just jump into a 5-day fast. You need to prepare for that. So I think that's really important. But the cool thing about it is when you're not doing a fast, right? Your cells are not fat adapted. So without preparation, fasting is just painful starvation. So if you're just doing it and it becomes painful. That's why a lot of people don't fast, because they're like, man, that last time I fasted, it sucked and I hated it. But it's because you didn't prep. So if we teach you how to prep right, and then you do the fasting, you're going to get results. And that's what we want, right? We want to actually get those results. So we get our bodies to start feeding off of the fat and the system that is in the body. And it's really the ketones. So it's going to be processing those ketones. So the cells are trained to use fat for fuel. So that's what's really cool, right? You want to actually start using the fat that's in your body and have it give your body the energy. And then guess what? Your body utilizes those fat stores instead of just keeping them around. And so that's pretty awesome, right? Turns that gasoline to diesel while the engine's still running. So that's really, really important. And there's two phases, right? The first phase of the fasting is what they call the recycle phase. So it gets your body prepped to start recycling, getting rid of the junk that's in the body. And that's really, really important, because you got to set up the body. And then once the awesome thing is the autophagy starts to happen, which is it starts killing off the things that are not supposed to be there, right? And that's what I really wanted to do. That's why I specifically did a 3-day fast before a particular treatment that I was getting done. So I did it for a reason, to set up my body in a perfect way to where when I got my treatment worked even more effectively than it would have without it. And so pretty exciting stuff. But then on phase 2, if I would have extended my fast instead of getting the treatment, my body would have gone into the second phase, which is the stem cell creation. So that's the thing I wanted to emphasize for people, that if you really want your body to transform, you can create your own stem cells. And that's when the 4th and 5th day of the 5-day water fast happens. So I don't condone to do any fasting without talking to your doctor, right? This isn't medical advice, as the old the adage, right? I can't give any medical advice, but what I do want to do is teach you about the benefits of fasting. So there's clinical data behind this. The cellular cleanup is pretty awesome. So there's lots of studies and lots of science behind it. So this isn't just Rob pontificating these. It's literally well documented in scientific evidence. The foundation, right? In 2016, the Nobel Prize in Physiology Medicine was awarded to Yashiroshi Omushi for mapping the mechanism of autophagy, which is where your body kills off the bad cells. There's even studies about tumor suppression, right? And that's what I was most excited about, is getting rid of the tumors. So that's what I wanted to do during this period. And then there's also studies about the genetic upregulation, which is then we start getting not only into the autophagy, but then we start getting into the stem cell production. So that's pretty cool. So I thought that was really neat. But if you look at the 7 biological accomplishments of fasting, that's really important as well. One is it does help reset your digestive system. And that's a lot of people have an issue with their digestive system. So to reset it is important. But then just getting the bad gut bacteria, the microbiome reset, is also very important, because you need the right biome in your gut in order for your body to process your food correctly. And that's where a lot of people their system is messed up from the highly processed foods that we're eating, the oils that we're eating, right? The things that are really bad for us are really messing up our gut. The wheat that we're eating is just bad wheat for us. And so our bodies are not producing the things and processing food the way they should. So these fasting will help your body reset to do how God designed it. That's what's so fun and so fascinating about this, is we've learned through lots of trial and error and effort, but also lots of research of how to do these fasting to reset the body the way God built it. And then you start feeding it the right nutrients and you do the right things, and man, it does amazing things. So the other 5 things real quick are autophagy, right? Cellular debris is cleared out, getting rid of the bad junk. It's called sentient cells, or some people call them zombie cells, that everybody has them within their body. And you want to get rid of those if you can, because what happens when those collect and then they start gathering, those can actually cause the big C word, right? And that can cause a lot of problems for people, aka me. The second one is stem cells. The master repair cells are produced for systemic healing. So if you can get your body to produce its own stem cells, guess what it's going to do? It's going to do what God designed your body to do. It's going to heal. So man, if you can get to that point, you want to get your body to that point to where it can heal itself, which is super cool. And the ketones, really, really good brain healing fuel, turns the longevity genes on. So that's what a lot of people want to live till they're 120, right? There's lots of science going on, and I believe that that's going to happen, that people are going to start living longer because of the amazing science that's coming out, and we're learning how the body works better. We're learning how to manage it, and we're learning how to put the right nutrients into it. We're learning how to detox it from the chemicals that are everywhere, and the ultra-processed foods that people are eating. We're starting to move away from those, but people are going to start living longer because their body was designed to live longer. We've just done a really good job of destroying it. The other ones is hormone optimization, right? The growth hormones and testosterone spike during this period. And then just the DNA reset. So it gives the epigenetic activation. which I think is really, really important. So this is a cool slide. This talk goes through the 5-day period. So if you look at the first 3 days, the first day is rough, and the second day is what they call the wall. That's when most people hit the wall. That's when it's really difficult to think, and your body just feels the starvation, and you just like, oh my gosh. So let me give you my story. I did it for 3 days, and I did it when I was at the Annie Appleseed conference, which I went through on my last episode. It was a really amazing conference, met some amazing people there. But what I did is the third day of the conference was my first day of fasting. And so that wasn't too hard. I was at a conference. There's lots of people there, and there are a lot of people learning about, let me take it off of the screen real quick and go back to me. The conference was amazing, and that first day wasn't so hard because there's lots of people around, and I was able to do it. And we're all learning about health, right? We're all learning about how to process the big cancer component, and how to use natural resources and processes, and work with the healthcare system as it is today. So that was really not too tough. The second day was tough because the second day is where things really really start getting drained, and the hunger pains start coming. And what was hard for me is I was traveling, so I was at a hotel. And so it was, I literally remember that day going, man, I just can't think. So it is really amazing when your body is deprived of food, how it transitions and how it changes. And that second day, I started getting a good headache. And I'm like, ooh, but I do a lot of research before I do these types of things. And I did prep my body right. One thing I did not do, but I did get that day, was get magnesium. And again, this isn't advice. This is just telling you what I did. Right? I got some magnesium and some salt, and Celtic salt, not iodized salt. And so what I was able to do is I was able to get some Celtic salt and put that on, in my mouth. And then I got some magnesium, and the headache that I had that afternoon, and the brain fog subsided dramatically after I got that magnesium into my body. So the great thing is I was still doing my second day of that fast, but the magnesium and the minerals from the salt, the Celtic salt, really helped my body. And so then I transitioned to the third day, which was a travel day to get to San Diego. So I was going down to Tijuana for some treatments. And so that was the third day. Then I was at the facility, and the third day was not too bad at all. And then I was able to get my treatments the fourth day. So that was a pretty exciting process, because when I did it on purpose, right, I timed everything just right to where when I went there, and this is the reason why I did it, was when you're doing, even if you're in the United States and get treatment in the United States, you're going to do some type of immunotherapy treatment in the United States. There's evidence that shows your body will, or at least there's studies that have been done that show the efficacy of the treatment of the immunotherapy can work better if you're in that fasted state. So at least that's the research I had found and I had done. And so I was excited that I wanted to prep my body just right, so when I got my treatments, that they were going to be more effective. And I'm excited to tell you that just things went really, really well. The first day wasn't too bad, like I mentioned at the conference. The second day was tough. I will not say it wasn't. But I did get once I got the magnesium and the Celtic salt, the brain fog went away, and the headache I had went away. I was able to not didn't feel like I really was super duper hungry, so that was good. The hunger pains just really weren't that bad. And then the third day, and I think that's a lot of my preparation, right? I didn't eat a whole heck of a lot of volume of food the week prior to, or the days leading up to. So I didn't gorge myself. I didn't stretch my stomach. My stomach was I didn't need to eat a lot in order for me to feel hungry. And so I think I prepped right. And then the third day was a exciting day, because then I was able to break the fast later on in that afternoon, and then get my treatments on the fourth day. So just perfect. I lined it up just right, and my treatments went really well. So I just kind of wanted to walk through that with you and why I did it. I did want to mention a couple of things, the reasons why I hadn't been doing a fast for a really long time. Is I think I have mentioned in the past that I had a condition called bradycardia. So I had a slow beating heart, and I was doing research when I got diagnosed with my melanoma. I was like, oh man, I was doing all this research. I met Dr. Pompa, like I mentioned. I was like, I'm so excited. I'm going to do this 5-day fast. I'm like, man, it doesn't sound very fun, but I was so motivated to do it, and I was getting ready, and I was getting prepared. And my wife, God bless her, she is so amazing. She does research on everything, and she helps me with a lot of the all natural health topics. And she was looking at researching on the 5-day fast. She's like, you can't do a 5-day. I'm like, what do you mean I can't do a 5? Of course I can do. I can do anything I want. And she's like, you can't do a 5-day fast with your heart. And I'm like, what do you mean? So it's like, went back to that heart issue, that with the bradycardia I had, it would have been very dangerous for me to do a fast. Even a 3-day fast with my bradycardia, I couldn't do. And even intermittent fasting was pretty not that great of an idea for the way my heart was operating. So anyway, fast forward a little while, I was able to get my heart fixed. I got the pacemaker in my body, and God helped me work with the modern medicine that I have inside my body. All right, I wouldn't be alive today without this amazing pacemaker. I've got a leadless pacemaker in my body, and it saved my life, literally. And so using the integration of modern medicine and natural medicine, I believe, is my calling. I think that's what the Lord has me here to do, and to help people navigate this world of AI and all this bad information that you can put into AI. Gives you bad information out. You put good information into AI, and you can encompass it. You can really get good information out. So you need to be really careful about just getting advice from these AI tools, because man, there's a lot of bad information out there, and these AI tools are just collecting all information, right? And then they spit it back out. So if they collect in a bunch of bad data, and then you go do some research, and that gives you back out this garbage data, guess what? You're going to do the wrong thing. So I think it's really, really important when you're dealing with something like your incredible temple. You need to be very cautious about you utilizing AI for it. I think AI is going to be incredible advancements, and I think it's going to help people a lot in the health arena. And so I'm super excited about that, but I'm also very cautious, because a number of times I've done fasting is a perfect example. I did some research on fasting, and some of the AI tools said it doesn't help you. It is dangerous, and you shouldn't do it. Literally. And then I do all this research. So I'm like, oh my gosh, there's lots of benefits. There's even lots of scientific evidence about the benefits of it. And it was just like, how can these things tell me that it's dangerous and bad when it's just, do research and it's like totally not the same. And so of course, maybe the information that I was researching that told me that scientifically it was good could be bad, right? I mean, you have to be very cautious about what you believe, right, and what the source of information is. So I believe that's why God has me here, to just help people understand that, give you multiple ways to find data, and help you navigate these important conversations. related to your health, because it could be a big bad world out there. But cool thing is, I was able to do that 5-day fasting or the 3-day fasting, and I'm super excited I did it. It just to go back to my heart thing, right? Because I got my pacemaker in, I was able to do the 3-day fast. And I probably had to be really careful with the 5-day with my actual pacemaker, which is frustrating, because I want to do it, but at the same point, I also want to make sure I don't do something to compromise my health. With a pacemaker, it does change your physiology and your biology, and that's why you do a fast, is so your body gets in a particular state and it starts feeding off of itself and burning that fat. And then the 4th and 5th day, it moves from ketone production, and then to the stem cell production, right? And stem cell production is where you want to get your body there. But the 4th and 5th day are danger zones for somebody with a pacemaker. So I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it, but we'll be working with people, and I'll be working with Dr. Pompa and Dr. Rubin, or Jordan Rubin, and getting more information and advice from these amazing health practitioners. They're not health practitioners, but they I do want to get some advice from my health practitioner as well. I use Dr. Tracy Strout is an amazing woman. She's I've got a podcast called Quarterbacking Cancer. She's also an ND and very well-versed person that I'm consulting with on my health. So recommend all of those that you should follow. Dr. Jordan Rubin, or I don't know he's a doctor, but Jordan Rubin and Dr. Dan Pompa and Dr. Tracy Strout. I would follow all 3 of those if I were you. And so let's get back to fasting. So fasting, I want to jump back into these slides, because there are some great slides, right? And then there's some really good information in it. So I want to do that. And then there's a short 4-minute video that just summarizes everything. So if you want to listen to the advice and the benefits of doing this fast, then stick with me for a few minutes. You're going to hear me talk about a couple of more slides, but then I'm going to give you a 4-minute overview that is very well done. And it really describes it in a much better way than I can describe it. So that's why I wanted to do that, is I wanted to show you physically in a different form, in a different video format that give you this great information. So let's jump back into my slides. All right, so go back to my screen if you can. Thank you. And then we're going to present this. One of the reasons that I was doing some of these studies was I mentioned Jordan Rubin. In his case study, he used fasting during his transformation in his body. Right, so he had a really difficult problem. He had Crohn's disease. He was down to 104 pounds, and his body was failing. He'd seen over 70 doctors across 7 countries and 500 different medical treatments he'd tried. So he was really, 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 really struggling, right? And the turnaround for him was when he framed his illness through the ancient wisdom of the Bible. And that's when he created the Maker's Diet, was because of his how it transformed his life. So he did a dramatic 40-day recovery. In that 40 days, he was able to gain 29 pounds, and his symptoms totally reversed. That's when he built the Maker's Diet, and he's the founder of Garden of Life, and he also co-founded Ancient Nutrition, and is an amazing organization that he's out exited from, and now he owns this amazing farm in Tennessee, where he's building, he's planted, thousands and thousands of trees. And he's created now the Biblio diet, and he's using the leaves of those trees for healing purposes. So we'll talk about that. Pretty amazing. So that's an important study that I wanted to walk through, and why these nutrients in the Bible, I think, are really, really important. But anyway, rewiring the craving, right? The neuroscience of surrender. The old way is like you just try to force yourself into not eating, and it was really difficult. But the way Reuben does it, right? He gets it when he does his fasting. When he gets hunger, he prays, and when he prays, it's elevated BDNF release, right? The BDNF factor is fasting naturally increases the brain-derived neuropathic factor, what is called the BDNF, making the brain hyperplastic. When you pray in a state of deep hunger, your brain is physically more open to rewiring your relationship with desire. You train the body to obey the calling, not the craving, right? So I think that's prayer is a way that he specifically used in his protocol. And then the biblio diet, just to give you some quick overview of the biblio diet, because it's something that I think you should take a look at, because it's very, very helpful for this temple. But he does raw information, raw food, and then he also has a specific rule on seafood, right? And skins, fins, and scales are required, so he doesn't do bottom feeders, which I think is really, really important. And then eat things from the original component, and there, meat and cheese and other things are in the diet. So you can eat lots of things. You just have to be really careful about what types of them. And he's got some really good content. He even has a workbook with his book that you can follow. So all of that kind of leads to the biblio diet. But the reason why I wanted to go through this was it kind of shows you the difference between the two different frameworks, right? Like Dr. Pompa has his 5-day fast, but it takes 7 weeks to prep for that 5-day fast if you're going to do it the damn Pompa way. So if I were to ever do the 5-day fast, if I could physically do it with my body, I would go through his prep period. And he's got this resource that I want to give to you at the end. I want to give you access to it. That is incredible. It's a 7-week prep, and then all the details on the actual 5-day fast. And so this is pretty cool. These two frameworks, right? What to eat and when, and what's the primary focuses of him doing that, right? It's taking autophagy and stem cell creation. So autophagy is getting rid of those bad cells in the body, and then boom, the next one is creating good cells within your body to heal. So the key mechanism to do that is through ketosis. Your body goes into ketosis, and then it starts feeding on itself. And if it starts feeding on the fat that your body has stored, and then it turns into a stem cell producer, and your body's producing stem cells. So that is pretty cool. And the reason why you're doing the Pompa approach is getting rid of the cellular debris, and then helping change your genetic epigenetics. Which is pretty awesome. Then you go down to the second one. You're talking Jordan Rubin's thing, right? His biblio diet, and what you're eating and why, and then how you source them. The primary focus of that is where you're sourcing your materials and what you're eating more whole foods, right, rather than processed foods. And then he has these deadly dozen. So the things you want to get rid of. You want to get rid of the seed oils. You want to get rid of those things that are just really, really bad for you. And then you use the soil-based probiotics. Then that really helps your gut get back to the way God designed it. And you get your gut healed, and you're eating your body's getting the right nutrients. And guess what? The 3 I's is what Jordan Rubin calls it: the insulin, infection, and inflammation. It helps with all of those. So it helps with your insulin levels, it helps with your infections, and it helps reduce inflammation. So those are just 2 things I think are just awesome. So I wanted to highlight them for you, both the fasting that Pompa does, and then the biblio diet and why. And then here's some just things that talk about the clearing. Now let's jump into that video. So I'm gonna go. Here we go. All right, this is 4 minutes. So stick with me for 4 minutes. You're gonna love this.
Every human cell carries a dormant survival program that only activates when the body enters a state of deep deprivation. In the modern world, the human body spends nearly all of its energy processing a continuous stream of incoming food. This endless cycle of consumption keeps the body's internal maintenance systems locked behind a digestive engine that never stops running. A 120-hour fasting protocol is designed to intentionally stall that engine, initiating a two-phase cellular sequence: recycle and renewal. The body's primary mechanism for deep internal repair only powers on when the food completely stops. On day 1, blood glucose levels begin to plummet as the body exhausts its immediate energy stores. This chart tracks the transition from glucose to ketones. Shifting to this secondary fuel is like switching an engine from gas to diesel at highway speeds. The resulting metabolic friction causes profound fatigue, dense brain fog, and aggressive hunger. By day 2, you hit the wall. Physical cravings peak as the body demands a return to its primary fuel source. One approach to this phase is the Rubin concept, which treats hunger not as a crisis to be solved, but as a biological signal to be observed and accepted. During this period of intense craving, the body produces a massive spike in BDNF. BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor, is a protein that supports the growth of new neurons, leaving the brain highly plastic and receptive to change. Surviving the second day provides a rare neurological window to rewire the brain's relationship with comfort by choosing to sit with physical discomfort. On day 3, the body enters the recycle phase. With the digestive engine offline, the body's energy reserves are diverted entirely towards cellular repair. This triggers autophagy, literally self-eating, a process where starving cells begin hunting down and consuming their own damaged components to recycle them for fuel. This cleanup crew targets misfolded proteins and injured organelles. The discovery of these specific biological mechanisms was recognized with the 2016 Nobel Prize in Physiology. During this phase, you may experience retracing, where old injuries temporarily flare up as the body finally directs massive energy reserves to heal long-standing damage. By day 4, the brain begins to run efficiently on ketones. Hunger typically diminishes or disappears entirely, often replaced by a surge in mental clarity. On day 5, the biological process reaches its peak, triggering massive spikes in growth hormone and the rapid generation of fresh stem cells. These new stem cells are used to rebuild the immune system using fresh materials, completing the cycle of replacing damaged structures with healthy ones. This 120-hour fast is the physiological cost required to force the body to literally rebuild itself from the inside out. On day 6, the refeed begins. Because the digestive system has been dormant, the gut is now a highly sensitive blank canvas. Introducing processed, factory-made foods to an enzyme-depleted system at this stage can immediately compromise the benefits of the cellular cleanse. Ancient Levitical dietary principles offer a blueprint for this transition, prioritizing uncorrupted fermented foods and clean proteins to nourish the newly generated stem cells. Modern studies in 2025 regarding chronic inflammation and pathogen burden show that these historical fasting protocols mirror the specific timing and nutrient inputs required to optimize cellular biochemistry. Lasting physical healing is not always found in the next thing we add to our lives, but in having the courage to temporarily strip everything away.
There you go. There you go. So let's bring back the screen to me. So I love that because it just explains it in such a scientific way and visual way that really makes sense. And so I tried to do it with slides and my story, but sometimes it helps to see it in a visual way as well. Different people learn different ways. And so I wanted to combine both of those for you, because it's such an important topic, and it's just so fascinating that what your human body can do. This temple that God created is so awesome. It is so complex, and we only have one, right? We only have one, so you have to take care of your temple. And I did not do a good job of that, right? For first 17, 18 years, I did a great job. And then I got hit by a truck that changed my life, and I went into the corporate world. And for 30 years, I did a horrible job of taking care of my body and taking care of this temple. And then the last 6 years, I've really transitioned and done a fantastic job, but I ended up getting the big C word, and now I'm battling that. But the nice thing about it is I'm doing my research. I'm working hard and trying to understand how to utilize what God has put on this earth for us to help fuel our bodies. And then just the way that he's introducing me to the right people. So I've been able to meet incredible holistic practitioners who both integrate modern medicine with ancient science and ancient traditions. And so you get modern science with ancient traditions is really exciting to me. And that's what I want to bring to the world, right? I want to bring the world the understanding of ancient traditions, and there's reasons why those were there. There's reasons why a lot of that information was in the Bible. And that's why I created Exodus with the product that I have that has the 7 biblical nutrients. And then God taught me about molecular hydrogen, right? And hydrogen is so impactful and powerful in the human body. And so he's been teaching me about these. And then one of the big things I've been learning a lot about is light therapy, right? So the whole idea of fasting is to get your body to get rid of the bad cells in the body, as well as, if you do the extended fast, to create new ones, right? But there's a lot of cells in your body, and if you do the red light therapy and the near infrared light therapy, it really helps the mitochondrial process repair and work better. So the things that I'm learning are super cool, because not only does molecular hydrogen inside the bloodstream help clear out the bad and make the cell process work better, the mitochondrial process work better to produce that ATP, to produce that energy that we need. Molecular hydrogen does it in the bloodstream. The red light therapy helps your whole entire body, right? With these mats that we have, just help with the reproduction and help with the repair of your mitochondria. And so what does the fast do? The fast teaches your body to get, to eat itself, eat the fat that you have stored, and it gets rid of it. And then it starts getting rid of the bad cells within the body, and it resets your body to start producing good cells and good and better things. And then your body naturally starts healing the way God designed it, man. So if you can combine these things, I call it the light code. The light code literally takes 1 + 1 + 1 = 10, not 3. Right. And so that's super exciting in the respect that if you can combine a number of these things, that you can really transition your health in a major way. And I'm so excited to continue educating you and learning all of these things so that we can become just more healthy in this world, right? That's my whole goal. So the thing I promised you early on is yes, those sound cool, but I've got a couple of resources for you that I think you're going to love. One thing that we didn't have time to talk about was the Jordan Rubin prayer. So we'll talk about this prayer the next conversation. But I do have an amazing resource for you. It is the Dan Pompa fasting resource. So I want to get that to you. You go to www.biohackingville.com. That is the community I'm just putting together. It's going to be flipping awesome because I'm going to have a ton of information about all biohacking things, and I'm going to have integrative oncology resources there. And I put this resource that Dr. Pompa allowed me to put this resource up, and Dr. Rubin is letting me put his prayer up. So I will actually have that prayer up there anyway. So go to biohackingville.com, sign up. It's free to sign up, and you're going to have access to all these resources. I'm going to be putting a plethora of resources there that are going to be very helpful for your body. Just if you're interested in biohacking topics, there's going to be a ton of stuff there. If you're interested in integrative oncology, there's going to be a bunch of stuff there. If you're interested in doing prayer for healing, there's going to be a number of things there as well. So www.biohackingville.com. Go there, sign up, get your free resources, and I'm very excited to help you to believe, biohack, and become. Remember, if you have air in your lungs today, God has a plan for your life. Believe, biohack, become.
Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Join the community and get the show notes at biohackingville.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at biohackingville. Until next time, believe, biohack, become.